Hello again everyone. As I said in my Getting to Know Transformers video, my first review is going to be on this, The Last Stand of the Wreckers trade paperback. Picked it up today. I've read through it, I looked at the extras, skimmed the story again just to remind me, and it's still amazing. So let's get right into the review. Obviously the author and, well, the authors I should say of this series were Nick Roche and James Roberts. I think it was Nick that did the initial story on it, and then James Roberts, fleshed it out, added his creative input to it, that kind of thing. I think that's what it is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Of course, we've got Nick on art as well, with I'm going to say this wrong, but with Guidi helping him. I think it was in issue 3 and 4. And then on colours we've got Josh Bertram, amazing colourist. I've loved him since whenever he started, I'll have to try and remember. And then support by someone I'm not familiar with. I think it was Joanna Lafente, I think it is. From what I've seen in there, she's pretty good. So the main focus of Last Stand is Overlord taking over Garrus 9, or G9, the Last Stand, the Autobots' big old prison where they send all the cons, all the high-level cons they capture, and any Autobot deserving of going there, and turns it into basically a death camp / amusement park where play makes you free apparently. And the Wreckers initially coming in to retrieve Equitas to get all this stuff off the Culpability Drive, Prowl sending them for that, but obviously it develops further as they realise what Overlord is doing there. My initial thoughts when this series was first announced, I loved it, loved the idea of a proper Wreckers story finally, because obviously back in the UK run with Simon we had some really cool Wreckers story like Volcano and all that. Since then we've not had that much with the Wreckers, in my opinion. Not proper Wreckers anyway, like Springer and the proper G1 Autobots, because what you had, Universe featuring the Wreckers, which was Primal Prime and Universe Cyclonus, Ape-Link and all those random guys. And then we had Dreamwave's Wreckers, which I think, well, I don't know anything about Dreamwave's Wreckers actually, all other than Ultra Magnus was in it, and it featured his crotch. Thank you, TF Wiki. And I was very happy to find out that Nick was coming back into the, sorry, not coming back, but Nick was doing almost everything on it, because he's an amazing artist. Loved what he did on Spotlight Cup, and he's a really good writer as well. Again, loved what he did on Spotlight Cup, and all his artwork that he did in the Asian series and Spotlight Hot Rod, which I think he might have written as well, or was that Simon? I forget, but he was great in Spotlight Hot Rod, whatever he did. And again, and in addition to loving the fact that Nick was on it and everything that he'd done, I was hoping that it was going to gel a lot better with the IDW stuff that had come before it, like the Asians, the Spotlight, Stormbringer and all that, better than All Hail Megatron did anyway, and I think it did. It gelled a lot better, made more sense, because referenced all the old things that had come before, Springer's antagonistic relationship with Prowl, and all that, and then we got some new stuff like Impactor actually being part of IDW's G1 continuity, and this new bunch of Wreckers. So let's get on to the story aspect of this. What does this series, this is my own guide I've made, so I might stick to it, might not. What does the series set out to achieve and how well does it do? Well, as it says in the blurb of the trade paperback, they are wanting to explore the differences between being an Autobot, a Decepticon, and being a Wrecker. So, the difference between Autobots and Decepticons is a really big thing in All Hail Megatron, and I think possibly the ongoing series as well, because it's all the war's kind of finished and it's finished. And then the Wreckers obviously being this somewhat, what's the word I'm looking for, autonomous group within the Autobots, and I think it does it pretty well, because it gives the Autobots, I feel, are represented by Prowl, Magnus, and the others in the flashbacks. They're like the authoritarian people behind the Wreckers. You know, they're the ones telling them what they want them to do, how they want them to do it, and that sort of thing. The Decepticons, specifically Overlords, Decepticons, the Predators, and all that, they're shown, well, Overlord is anyway, shown to just be crazy and wanting to have fun, well, fun all the time as a way of just baiting Megatron, whereas the Predators will go with Snare and I forget the other one's name, the one that Springer kills with the Eviscerator thing. Snare, obviously, part one of the Predators, gradually gets sick of what Overlord's doing and lets Impactor out so he can stop it. And then the other one, again, whose name I completely forget, really revels in it and just goes all out when he's torturing the others and all that. And then the Wreckers themselves, you get a nice mix, because you've got the old guys, you've got Cup, you've got Springer, that we always know is a Wrecker no matter what. I mean, he's already appeared in IDW, in the in Stormbringer, then in the Spotlight for not the Spotlight, the all the Hail Megatron Coda stuff to show what happened to Cup. So yeah, you get Springer in there, and he's like, he is more Autobot in terms of authoritarian and wanting to do things by the book. He's more that kind of Wrecker than, say, Impactor is, because Impactor is all, as he says to Snare, he's like, I'm a Wrecker first and an Autobot second or whatever, because he knows what needs to be done in order to win the war, and there are those amongst the Autobots that disagree with that. And I think that's what being a Wrecker is about, knowing what needs to be done and not being afraid to do it. You know, granted you have to break through a few rules and all that, but you do it anyway. And it also, as on the whole, this series is probably one of the more mature, if not the most mature, Transformers piece of fiction I've ever read, because it really goes into what it is to be at war and what war can do to people, especially Overlord, because he just goes completely schizo, completely psycho, wanting to graduate, as it says in the series, from homicide to genocide, and it's just viscera everywhere, unrelenting violence and all that. I mean, you get that a bit in Stormbringer maybe, and some of the other series so far, but nothing as graphic or brutal maybe as Wreckers itself. So yeah. The character focus, you get your fan favourites such as Springer, Cup, Impactor, who's back finally. I think he's only ever been in the Marvel G1 stuff, and then he just shows up. Let's just get that page up, because it is an amazing page. Just shows up at the end of issue 1 asking to come aboard, and that is an amazing piece of art there. Just Impactor coming out of that wreckage. That's incredible. And also you get Perceptor again, but you know, he's different from what Shane McCarthy's done to him. He's not just now a sniper gone mad. He's himself. He's the Perceptor that we know and love, but he's also this new Perceptor who's all about the war and his sniping, but he still thinks a lot. And it also gives us a nice focus on some of the minor characters that haven't had a lot of attention in the European market, such as Overlord, because I'll be honest with you, when I saw the pencil work for that page there, when I saw that pencil work, I had absolutely no idea who that was. And I had to wait for, I think someone replied to a thread on Sabertron or Moonbase 2 maybe, I don't know, but saying, oh my god, it's Overlord, amazing. Yeah, like I said, I had no idea who it was. Even though I have the Takara Transformers box set, all 3 plus Zone, I've still not really watched it. I reckon I need to. But yeah, give us a look on Overlord and just how mental that Nick Roach made him, because obviously that is Nick Roach's interpretation of Overlord. That's not, as far as I'm aware, that's not what Overlord was like in his other series, because if memory serves, Overlord is a G-Salt of 2 characters from Super God Master Force, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we get others like Iron Fist and Pyro and Rotor Storm. Again, I think I've read on TF Wiki that Pyro hasn't ever been in any other fiction before Wreckers, because obviously he is now in Generation 2 Redux as Spark. We get to see Pyro, and you get this old Primus Apotheosis thing, which I think is awesome, because you see all these guys looking like Prime, thinking, what's going on with that? And now we have a reason. It's Primus Apotheosis. It's a nice phrase. And then all those nice little random characters that we get to learn so much about. Favourite moments from the series when Overlord appears and Skyquake is just like, shit, it's Overlord, what do I do? And he tries to take control of the situation, and Overlord's just like, no, sorry, boom, blasts him away. That's an incredible bit, I absolutely love that. Impactor's arrival, as I showed you the picture, it's just cool because he's coming out with his broken harpoon arm and just grinning inanely, can I come in please? From issue 2, Overlord's big you to Megatron after he's said that him, Six Shot and Black Shadow are his phase 6s, and he's like, I don't want to be your pet weapon of mass destruction. Goes off to continue eviscerating Copernicus forces, and just goes, yeah, I've chosen option 2, which has Megatron saying he's going to hunt him down and kill him, which obviously never comes to fruition. When Shockwave and Overlord have their discussion, I think in the beginning of issue 3, when Shockwave is remarking on the fact that Overlord's been in charge for almost a year now, and he's only just reintegrating Shockwave into his body, and the reason he's doing this is because Overlord wants him to remove this Achilles virus from him. Amazing that the Transformers have named a virus after a mythological human hero. And obviously what that virus does, I don't fully get what this virus actually does. It gives him a tactical blind spot when it comes to Megatron, because obviously Overlord, when he's talking to Shockwave, says that he can look at any opponent and instantly know how to defeat them, but he can't do it with Megatron. So obviously the deal is that if he removes this, if Shockwave removes this virus from Overlord, he'll let him go, basically, and that's an awesome bit. I'm just remembering now when the Wreckers, or when Rotor Storm, Pyro, Iron Fist, Perceptor and Twin Twist, or Topspin, have all and Verity have breached into Overlord's place, and Overlord's like, what are you going to do now? And then Rotor Storm's just like, well, you've not reckoned with this. Wreckers, combine! I think I just laughed out loud on the bus when I read that, or in my room, wherever I was when I was reading it, and it's still just a perfect moment, because it's like, panel, Wreckers, combine. Same panel, no speech. Last panel, Rotor Storm, well, I thought it was funny, and obviously Overlord did as well, because he blew Rotor Storm's brains out. Again, viscera, violence, all good. The branched spark explanation and the sacrifice, because obviously the Transformer relations are always something that have been a big source of discussion within the continuity. What are the names? Sideswipe and Sunstreaker, though we don't know if they're a branch spark, but that really got my attention, this branch spark thing. I think that's a really cool idea, the fact that they can share pain, and the fact that that was the reason that, again, I can't remember, that Topspin or Twin Twist, who was a cartographer, wanted to come and join the Wreckers so he could, help make sure, look out for his brother, make sure, or I don't know, twin brother, so he can make sure that he's not going to get in trouble. Squadron X, that was an amazing part as well. I didn't know who any of those characters were, but I just thought it was cool that the Decepticons had their own opposition to the Autobots with this Squadron X group of people, or robots, and anything relating to Physitron, because he is every fanboy in Transformers, basically. And all his data logs, like the guide to being a wrecker and his account of Pova, what he thought happened as opposed to what actually happened, all those sorts of things.